Mario Kart World looks incredible, and we've been given so much more new information over the past few days. Now, we've already done our analysis on everything we saw in the initial reveal trailer. However, what I think is even more interesting is what we didn't see. Honestly, with how much we saw, I'm left with just as many questions as answers. Now, hopefully, a lot of our questions are going to be answered during the April 17th Mario Kart Direct, so make sure to stay tuned for more coverage because we'll be making videos after that as well. But at least for now, I have a few theories for this game regarding several of these unanswered questions. So in this video, we'll be taking a stab at Mario Kart World's biggest secrets. Now, the first unanswered thing we saw in the reveal trailer. What in the world, yes, pun intended, are these characters? I'm serious. Cataquack, Snowman, a dolphin, a freaking cow? These seem to be some insane character picks. However, as I started to wonder why these were the characters Nintendo picked to put in the game, I realized something. Almost all of the new characters double as either obstacles within tracks or background characters from Mario Kart tracks. Either tracks shown in this trailer or previous tracks that are likely to return. Fishbone and Sidestepper are from Wario's Shipyard and Koopa Troopa Beach. Rocky Wrench is from Airship Fortress. Bitty Buds can be seen in Mario Bros. Circuit, and I could go on, but you probably get the idea. Now, why did Nintendo choose to go this route with its characters? Well, I think it actually might be tied to this game's new free roam mode. This is essentially Mario Kart World's story mode as far as we can tell, featuring not only this game's namesake, its massive open world, but various quests and challenges for you to do throughout said open world, many of which will be activated by the various P-switches we can see all throughout the trailer in the free roam segment. Now imagine you're taking a drive on Moo Moo Meadows, when you see a mysterious speech bubble appear over a cow. By interacting with an NPC, he suddenly says, "This is my turf, stay in your lane," before challenging you to a race. If you can beat him, you've unlocked the man, the myth, the legend, Moo Moo. This seems like a great way to have unlockable characters in this game. We know we're getting a ton of characters and a ton of tracks. Why not tie a bunch of these characters to those tracks to make each character choice feel more personalized? On top of that, we kind of already see NPCs in this environment, as we see Nabbit in this desert area, who's clearly not another player since he doesn't even have a cart. Nabbit is, though, surrounded by a bunch of other objects in this little desert oasis, clearly marking this as a point of interest. Maybe if you come over to Nabbit, he runs away, and if you catch him, you'll get an item that he stole and also unlock him as a character. Will this actually be how characters are unlocked? I have no clue. But given the characters that have been revealed, and the tracks that have been revealed as well, there's no doubt in my mind that some of these characters are related to their respective tracks. Again, Moo Moo Meadows is returning here for the third, or fourth I guess if you count 8 and 8 Deluxe, straight home console Mario Kart game. There is also a cow you can drive with. Wario's Shipyard prominently features these drybone fish, who we also see as raceable characters. You can go down the list. Almost every single weird newcomer that has people scratching their heads as like, why would Nintendo ever include this, can pretty easily be tied to a track. Feel free to put your theories as to why down below, but my theory is that you can unlock characters at said tracks when you're in free roam mode. Regardless, this kind of all brings us into the next topic that I want to talk about, that being free roam itself. This looks sick. Just being able to explore all of the tracks, which are all interconnected through a giant world map, is awesome, and with how ambitious this actually is, I'm starting to believe that this little side mode is a lot more deep than they initially let on. And I'm not just talking about these sort of NPC challenges. If we're being honest, I cannot imagine that they built this giant world map and there isn't even a story attached to it. There will definitely be some major shenanigans, aside from just driving around and taking photos, and one thing that might connect the story is boss fights. Remember Mario Kart DS's mission mode? One of the coolest things from that was its boss fights. And since you can now drive around each track, what if you can now battle the bosses, quote unquote, from those tracks? Imagine an epic boss fight between you and this giant mechanical Donkey Kong, a Brachiosaurus from Dino Dino Jungle, or this huge sand blarg we see in the trailer. Using the major obstacles from these cool environments as bosses, this could really bring this game's story together. I also think we could see some sort of rival mechanic. In the free roam map that we saw in the recent treehouse, there are several characters we can clearly see with icons on the screen, And these seem to be some pretty standard Mario Kart characters, like Mario or Peach, that aren't unlockable. However, they may challenge you to races or also just have their own objectives where you can unlock things, which I'll get into later. But one idea I had for rivals that would be similar to bosses is the Koopalings. This whole time, I've kind of been shocked that we've yet to see these characters return, especially because their iconic logos can be seen on multiple tracks, like with Nabbit, who is now confirmed. However, what if that's because they play into the game's story? On the map, we see that individual areas seem to have objectives, like hitting P-switches and question mark blocks, and also collecting specific coins. Maybe after completing up enough of these objectives, a Koopaling will appear and challenge you to a race, and that's how you unlock them as a character. Now, we can't talk about a Mario Kart story mode without mentioning what will undoubtedly be the grand finale of said mode, and that is, well, the grand finale of every Mario Kart mode, Rainbow Road. Now, we haven't actually seen Rainbow Road in this game, or have we? Big shout out to Scott, who sent this over in an email, but apparently Nintendo of Korea's website briefly had this image up, which it was not supposed to have. This is a different version of the map that actually has all of the icons, including one for, well, you guessed it, Rainbow Road. Now, apart from seeing this little preview of the map, it really doesn't do anything because, I mean, it's Rainbow Road. There was going to be a Rainbow Road in the new Mario Kart. Big shocker, big surprise. But I think the more interesting question here is, how do you unlock it? Well, I wouldn't be surprised at all if it had something to do with this giant mountain that claims to be home to the quote rainbow fragment. Obviously, there's no way to say for sure, but my theory is that this rainbow fragment will play some sort of role within the story mode in order to take you to Rainbow Road. Because obviously, Rainbow Road is way up in the sky, yet everything here is in one open world. So how would you actually get to the Rainbow Road? You need some sort of transportation method to get there, and I don't think a giant barrel that shoots you up like in Donkey Kong will do the trick. I'm assuming that the rainbow fragment will somehow teleport you up to where the Rainbow Road is, because Rainbow Road in particular really does not fit with this whole open world style of Mario Kart. The whole point of Rainbow Road is that there's no off-road. It is just a track with some incredibly tight turns that takes place in the sky. Obviously, that is antithetical to the core principles of Mario Kart World as we know it, because, well, you won't be able to drive off Rainbow Road onto another road, or maybe you can, I don't know. But that seems to be kind of going against what Rainbow Road actually is. So yeah, that's my theory about story mode, the Rainbow Fragment, and Rainbow Road as well. The next thing I want to talk about is one of the most mysterious things from this trailer, and that is this food item. This item seems to be unique from all other items in the game because it changes your outfit. While every other Mario Kart item usually only lasts for a few seconds after you use it, this item seems to have a permanent effect. But what actually is this effect? You get a speed boost when it's used, but besides that, is it literally just a visual update for each character? Well, the way each character reacts to using this item is with the same level of excitement they would have for any other item. And that is because they also offer that said speed boost. We see multiple unique outfits for several characters, so clearly they've put a lot of effort into this. But in that case, why would they bother to tie them to an item just to offer the exact same effect as a mushroom? I think these outfits will function as items beyond just giving you an outfit and speed boost. However, their effect is subtle. If you look at the costumes we see, their themes all seem relevant to the track that we see the characters racing on, and I do not think that's a coincidence. My prediction is that the outfit you get will give you better stats that are tailored to the track that you're racing on. Mario's aviator outfit that he'll get on courses with heavy flying sections will allow him to fly with more control. Peach's biker outfit will give her better off-roading. Daisy's swimwear will allow her to travel faster on water, and Luigi's racing gear will allow him to get better drifts. I think each character will have multiple outfits tied to different stats and abilities, and they'll be able to change those stats with an outfit based on the tracks themselves, or maybe even the weather or time of day, since we know that changes as well. We also know that you do retain this outfit for future races in the Grand Prix, and when you pick your character, you also pick what costume you want. From what we've seen, the food item actually changes depending on the track, and it could be anything from burgers to popcorn to pancakes, so depending on which skin you currently have equipped, it may change your decision to take a detour and collect this food item or not. As for how the different costumes are unlocked, it's pretty much definitely in the story mode. For instance, we see that Mario appears to have 10 skins on the map, with 6 of them here being unlocked and 4 still hidden. Assuming that there is this sort of NPC mechanic, you can probably unlock skins by completing quests for that character. The costumes might also have a role in the story mode itself. Thinking back to Super Mario Odyssey, sometimes you needed a certain costume in order to enter a certain area, and we may see something similar here. This one's still a giant mystery to me. The costumes are so interesting, and there seem to be so many of them, but their implementation, at least as we can see them right now, just does not make a ton of sense to me. So I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say. say. Moving on to the carts themselves, we already know of a few changes. Namely, instead of gliding, your cart now has wings that will allow you to soar into the air, and also there are now no cart parts. When you choose your cart, what you see is what you get. However, I do have one theory about how you could see some sort of cart customization, and that is, once again, in the story mode. In the Treehouse event, we saw an achievement pop up, alerting the player that they've reached 300 total kilometers. This alert comes from Banana Natural Oil, which is obviously some sort of sponsor. In Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, certain carts have their own sponsorships, such as Bowser Oil. I'm curious if completing missions by certain sponsors in this story mode could earn you some certain cool stickers to customize your cart with, kind of like the Odyssey in, well, Mario Odyssey. Stickers here could even be tied to stat boosts as well, and by the end of the free roam story, you could have a car that's absolutely overpowered, being able to earn quick mini turbos and just going absolutely flying while also making sharp turns. When tossing out a crazy theory like this, I find it best to think about what the actual gameplay loop would be, and then seeing if that's something Nintendo would actually do. Here, the gameplay loop sounds super interesting. Obviously, you drive around doing different missions and whatnot, but you can also get different achievements. These achievements, as we see, are tied to different sponsors. In this open world Mario Kart game, where we've already seen plenty of buildings and cities and points of interest throughout, driving up to, say, a Banana Natural Oil shop after completing a certain amount of achievements associated with that brand could net you a Banana Natural Oil upgrade. Say all the achievements that are for driving a certain amount, like the one we see in the Treehouse, are all associated with something like banana oil and will allow you to upgrade your car's oil there, increasing your top speed. Then certain other achievements can be linked to, say, a tire sponsor. Then you drive over to the tire shop, upgrade your tires, and have better mini turbo or traction. There's obviously a lot of customization for characters with new costumes, and while it's a bit surprising that cart customization has essentially been removed, I really could see it simply returning in a completely new way. The last thing I want to talk about here is coins. We've already seen that the cap on coins has been raised from 10 to 20, which is a pretty significant change. This is especially interesting when you consider that there are now 24 racers, meaning on top of people being able to hoard more coins, you'll be competing with more racers to collect coins. They're definitely going to have to increase the amount of coins in each track, which we've already kind of seen. We see Toadette using this coin box item from Tor, which also leaves a trail of coins behind her, and on top of that, there are some hidden coin stacks in the background of some tracks. Additionally, there are now coin blocks on the tracks, which you can either trick into or hit with a feather item, which will also give you a few coins. Lastly, we see that coin coffer enemy making its playable Mario Kart debut. And if that seems like a bizarre choice, remember that almost every new character is confirmed to be a part of another track. I would not be shocked at all if in some sort of jungle track, this guy is spitting coins at you from a distance. I'm also curious as to how collecting coins increases your speed. Like, will it be scaled so that 2 coins in Mario Kart World is the equivalent to 1 coin in Mario Kart 8? Or will you gain twice as much additional speed for collecting 20 coins? Another thing I wonder about this raise in the coin count is if coins will be useful outside of just races. Super Mario Odyssey allowed you to use the coins you've collected throughout your journey to buy items and costumes, making the coins feel so much more useful. What if the coins you collect in Mario Kart World could be used in this new free roam story mode, allowing you to purchase things like maybe upgrades for your vehicle or even open up new passages that are paywalled? Like, imagine Wario or Thwomp is blocking a path that you need to travel through and forces you to pay up in order to enter. Whatever they do with coins, I really hope they're more interesting than how they were handled in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where instead of being able to actually purchase anything, you just unlock cart parts for how many total coins you collected. With that out of the way, those are the theories I have about Mario Kart World before we get to learn a whole lot more about this game at the Direct in a couple of weeks. I'm super excited for said Direct, and I am really excited about this game in general. However, I am slightly concerned. I posted a video yesterday all about it. It'll be linked on the screen right now. There are parts of this game that, I don't know, look a little boring. I hate to say it. I obviously explained it way more in depth in that video, so click it on the screen right now if you're interested. Thanks for watching. I'm Thomas from The Switched Up, signing off. Peace.